What's up, everybody? We are live. My name is Chris, and this is my channel. We love comics. And I wasn't sure about making this video, but I thought, actually, after thinking about it, I think it's something I should talk about. And there was I guess, either a subscriber or viewer of my channel who sent me a information about a fellow comic book community that makes videos. I'm not going to specifically say the person. All right, sorry about that. It seems that I was disconnected. But what I was saying is the person's channel name, which, like I said, I won't mention, but if people know who I'm talking about and they want to put it in the comment section, just remember everybody has a choice and a right to their own opinion. But I want to share my opinion of why I think this is really wrong and somewhat hypocritical from things that I've dealt with as a person who uses, not exclusively, but has a quote-unquote deal with PGX, even though I've said repeatedly I don't get paid by them and don't have contracts, whatever. But the situation, yeah, I got disconnected. Sorry about that, Silver Age. That was the internet. We've had something going on. But anyway, hopefully you guys can hear me now. But what happened was, I found the person's channel. I've seen one or two videos of this person, but I didn't follow them because, in my opinion, they seemed like the type that only cared about the grade and they kept sending in books that were already graded to try and get higher grades, which basically means they're just doing it for the money. Now, again, people have the right to do that, so I'm not going to sit here and say they don't have the right to do things. But here's the one that kind of, it aggravated me a little bit, and I can see how it aggravated other people. And again, I'm just sharing my opinion on this. I couldn't watch the whole video, to be perfectly honest, because I was just... The hypocrisy is strong in this one, and I just couldn't watch the whole thing. But I got the general gist of it. From what I understand, there is a valuable comic this person had, and like I said, I've seen maybe 2 or 3 of their videos, and I just get turned off at anyone that just cares only about the value, price, and getting the most they could squeeze out of something. Now, this person had a graded book. I believe it was a CGC book. I won't say which one, but it's a key issue that was graded, I believe, an 8.0. And they wanted to crack it open so they can, you know, try and improve the grade. And when they cracked it open, they saw there was a tear in the cover, and there were, you know, color break increases and things like that. So the person said it would probably, at maximum, get a 9.0 grade. They said he might be able to, with a pressing, maybe get it from an 8.0 to an 8.5, maybe pushing a 9.0. Which, with a tear on the cover and other color break increases, you know, that made sense. So they send it in, and guess what the CGC grades it? Now, I have a sneaking suspicion, and I could be wrong, this is just my own guess, that CGC is probably being a little bit more generous with their grades considering the situation that's going on, because higher grades mean more people are going to make money, which means more people are going to forgive them for their current and still ongoing sins and focus more on the value of their comics and the money they can make other than doing the right thing. So if you're watching this live, if you want to put in the live chat what you think the grade came back as, please do. Or if you're watching this later on, you can put it in the comments section. So if you want to pause it for a second, by all means, please do. So like I said, keep in mind, this is an already graded book that was graded, I believe, an 8.0. When they cracked it open, they saw there was a tear in the front cover. There were color break increases. And the person said, now this is a person that regrades stuff all the time. They do their own dry cleanings and stuff like that. So they probably know what they're doing. And said at best it would get a 9.0. Well, they got it back, and CGC gave this book a 9.6. So the problem with that is, okay, 8.5, okay, I wasn't, like I said, I didn't watch the whole video because it was a little frustrating. So an 8.5 with a tear in the cover and color break increases, CGC gives it a 9.6. So it goes from an 8.5 to a 9.6, which let's put it in proper perspective because of all of the years I've dealt with people, because God forbid something that was graded by PGX was zero point 0.5 higher than what people claim they think it should be. I will get comments blasting me saying, "Oh, I can't believe PGX would do that." Imagine if I did one of my pretty much monthly PGX comic unboxings that I've done for 6 years, and I had a comic that was graded an 8. Well, we'll give it the benefit of the doubt that somebody said 8.5, so let's assume it was an 8.5. It had comic tears. It had a tear on the cover. It had color break creases. And I said, I'm going to because it may have one or two little pressable defects. And I said, I'm going to try and resubmit it, maybe get a 9.0, maybe a 9.2, and it comes back a 9.6. What do you think the community would say about me and PGX? This person, which I've warned people that many people do this, so I'm not just singling this one person. This is just the recent example, because I've seen many people that do stuff like this when it comes to especially CGC. And this is going to destroy the grading companies because of people's unfortunate value of money over value of principle. Where I'll first put in my perspective, if I had a book like that and it came back a 9.6, and I know there is no way it's a 9.6, as I've done before on my live videos, I would crack it open live and take it out and resubmit it and get a fair grade. What happened is, from what I understand, either they are... Well, first of all, I stopped it once they got the grade, and they were so excited about it. From what I understand from a comment that somebody left on one of my videos asking me, they said to call the person out, but I'm not going to do that. So if you guys want to search it, because like I said, this is not the only person. So I don't want to single a person out. That's why I'm not saying their name. Because I've seen many people do this, especially in the CGC grading community, that they were so excited because their book went from, I think, about $2,000 to about $8,000, and either was going to sell it or sold it to somebody at a 9.6 price. Which means, how do I put this? I can't say they frauded somebody because they didn't put the grade on there. So they didn't fraud somebody. I want to keep it real and I want to keep it honest. But if they all knew all too well that that did not deserve a 9.6, and they ended up selling it as a 9.6, and for example did not disclose that there's a tear on the cover and there's color break creases, that is not the best way to treat another human being. And it shows there are people that care more about the dollar than doing the right thing. Now, I cannot say this person did anything criminal, because they didn't. I can't say the person is the worst person on the planet, because he's not. But like I said, just imagine if PGX graded that book. The amount of fury I would receive. And I read some of the comments in this person's video. They were congratulating him. They were cheering him. They were all going I'd take that. Yeah, I'm sure many people would take that. It's like somebody seeing somebody drop their wallet and there's thousands of dollars in it, and instead of giving it back to the person, they keep it, knowing that the person would never know they took it. There's an old saying that I go by, and I've lived this the best of my ability, although I am not perfect. My life hasn't been perfect. But there's a saying that I use in my life, and I think more people should use if they want a better world. And that is, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Now, just imagine if you were the person who bought that CGC 9.6 comic, and let's assume they paid the $8,000. Maybe for some reason thought, maybe I can get a 9.8 on that one, and cracked it open and sent it to CGC or another grading company. Maybe they sent it to CBCS, for example, and it came back an 8.5 or a 9.0. Do you think that person is going to be happy with the thousands of dollars that that person just lost? I think people really need to be very considerate about other people and not just focus things solely on the most maximum dollar amount they could squeeze out of people. Now, I understand in this world of problems financially with people, but I haven't had a job since October. I'm not going to go out and rob somebody's house because it's easier to do and I need the money. And yeah, GT Key Comic, you're right. He said, Chris, not everybody congratulated him. A few people called him out. Yeah, and rightfully so. So yes, you're right. I didn't read every single comment, but I know the ones that got the most likes, the ones that were praising him. So of course, you're going to get that in any video. You're going to get people that, because unfortunately in this community, most people that watch people's videos, they base it more on whether they like the person or dislike the person. Now, I don't know this person. Like I said, I've maybe saw 2 or 3 of the person's videos. I don't like, in my opinion, people that care more about the dollar and try to get every penny. Now, again, I am not going to say you can't do that and you shouldn't do that, but and I've talked this all the time, and I still have the video up. I believe it was an Amazing Spider-Man 129 First Punisher. I believe it was. That I thought was going to be a 3.5, maybe a 4.0, and it came back a 6.5. And I tore it open during that live video and resent it in, saying that was overgraded. Now, I could have easily turned around and pocketed that extra money, but that's taking advantage of somebody else who'll have to suffer. Because I remember, and I've talked about this in videos before, that I spent, I think, about $8,000 on a Babe Ruth signed baseball and a Fleer Michael Jordan rookie card, and found out they were both fake and lost over $8,000. So I know what it feels like, because I remember that person that sold me that Babe Ruth baseball. He gave me his phone number. We talked on the phone. This was back before eBay, when Yahoo was doing Yahoo auctions. Person gave me their phone number and said, oh yeah, this baseball was in the family since my grandfather. He's like, I swear it's authenticity and blah, blah, blah. Made a good pitch. And it ended up being fake. So just put yourself in the person that either would buy that book or did buy the book. Because again, I don't know if it was in the process of being sold or was already sold. Because once I saw that, I had to shut it off. Because it really bugs me. So what is going to happen if people continue to do these kind of practices that they're allowed to do? Eventually, people are going to get so fed up with grading companies, they're just going to walk away, and your value of your comics are just going to plummet to the ground. He genuinely didn't know. What do you mean? You'd have to be more specific, WaveX, FX. I'm at the bottom. I can't find any negative comments, which means he deleted it. I left a comment, so I don't know if he deleted it. But if you're deleting comments, that says even more. And that's not good, because you know what? I don't delete comments. Luckily, I don't have enough viewers to have massive amounts of haters anymore. But I don't delete, unless it's something that's like cursing or is like verbally abusive to the point where it's like not a conversation, it's just attack, or somebody making claims about somebody that's untrue. That's a different story. Or somebody spamming, that's a different story. But if somebody I have many comments where people disagree with me, so there's nothing wrong with that. So if this person deleted the comments, that's not right. But I can also be playing devil's advocate that YouTube is very shady these days, and you never know, they could just disappear, or they can end up in spam. So I will give the benefit of the doubt of this, because whether I like or dislike somebody is irrelevant to the fact that everybody deserves, like they say in a trial, innocent before proven guilty. So everybody should have that, innocent till proven guilty situation. And yeah, by your deeds. I talk about it all the time. And how many times have I said over the years that the people, and again, it's not just this one person. I've seen this on so many different channels. And it seems to be exclusively people that only will deal with CGC. that basically shows they care more about the money because, like I said, the difference between a 9.6 and a 9.8. We seem to have a situation going on. That's okay. How are you? But was I saying, if somebody thinks they're going to get a 9.8 and it comes back a 9.6, you know what it is? So what? Don't keep resubmitting it 500 times. Now, if there's a mistake, like for example, if there was supposed to be a pressable defect and they didn't get it out and you want to resubmit it, that's another thing. Or if they made a mistake. But if your sole goal is to keep going until somebody finally gives you a 9.8, did it really deserve that? Or did you just play, Russian roulette until you found the bullet? So I think it's a shame there are many, many, many people out there in this comic book, and I will always put in quotes community, because it is certainly not a community. It's a bunch of little individuals who klitsch and have a certain niche, and they will follow each other, and if they like them, they'll just agree with everything they say, and if they don't like them, they'll just delete everything or ignore everything they say, instead of having a constructive dialogue where even the worst person in the world can do something good and even the best person in the world can do something wrong. We're never going to find the middle ground. Somebody that has an 8.5 book that they know would maybe get a 9.2 at best gets a 9.6. Instead of being excited about the profit you're going to make off of taking advantage of the situation and passing it along to somebody else that may end up having a financial, somebody may have spent all of the money they own to take a chance on a book that they consider an investment, and they could end up losing hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, and it could destroy their life. But many people don't think about that. And from what I understand, from what I've seen of this person's videos, they seem to be a little bit on the more of the well-off, considering how many different comics they have. Now, I don't know, and I'm assuming, and if I'm wrong, please correct me. And I appreciate the super chat. That's very nice of you. All of a sudden, I see this yellow thing, because it said my battery's about to die, so if it stops, that's why. But thank you for that. And it says, thank you for your honesty and contribution to the comic book community. I try and keep it real, and I call out things, and when I see something that's a mistake, I change it. And I'll give you a prime recent example. About 6 months or so, and you guys have seen this, and I have the video to prove it, I had a Hulk 181 that had not had the Marvel stamp. It was a dual-signed book. That's why I bought it. But it didn't have the Marvel stamp. And when I sent it in to get graded, it came back and did not indicate that it didn't have the Marvel value stamp. So I could have easily said, oh, I'm going to profit from that. I'm going to sell it and make a lot of money. What did I do? I cracked it open, sent it back, told them they forgot to mark it as it didn't have the Marvel value stamp, and it was sent back regraded, indicating that it did not have the Marvel value stamp. That meant I sacrificed money for myself, but the principle of doing the right thing is more important to me. So, again, I cannot chastise this person and say they're evil, they're not the devil, they're not Satan, they're not a criminal. They have the right to do it. But it's probably not something that is going to be beneficial for the community and for the buyer of that comic. And people seem to care in this world more about themselves than the consequences of their actions. Because like I said, if the person that buys or bought that book spent all of the money they had thinking they're buying a genuine 9.6 comic, and maybe it's so they can, prepare for their child's college fund, or, pay for a funeral for their dying family, or just to save money so they have an investment, and find out that it's if they ever resubmitted it or cracked open or whatever, and it ends up not being close to what it was and it was graded unfairly, that person suffers. The other person walks away with all that money. And I just think that is the wrong message to send. And those that commented on it saying that they'd take it too, and they said what a great job, and you got away with dodging a bullet, I think that's sad, it's disappointing, and like I said, if that was PGX, because I'll show you, I have a Hulk #1, and I even talked, and Tony from EGS is here, so, and if the video shuts off, the battery's about to die, so forgive me, but I had a Hulk #1 that had some chew bites. And I thought myself it might be a 0.5. PGX gave it a 1.0. I even talked to Tony over at EGS. He gave his opinion. I even showed from ChatGTP, and they explained that a bug bite is different than somebody, for example, cutting out a coupon or cutting the pages. I got killed for a 0.5 grade. And this is a comic that went from an 8.5 to a 9.6 and had a tear in the cover and multiple color breaks. And there are people applauding him. Either you keep it one way and you all say everything's wrong, or you don't say anything. You can't have it where you judge one company and then you dismiss another because you can make profit off of it. It's not the right way to do profit, because like I said, you can go rob some old lady or some old man down the street or some kid and take all of their money because it's easy to do, because your family might be starving, but that's not the right way to do it. And that's why, to me, somebody like Robin Hood is not a hero, because everybody will say, well, he stole from the rich and gave to the poor. Well, ladies and gentlemen, he still stole. There are plenty of ways to make money, and that, unfortunately, is not the best way to do it. That person should have cracked it open and took the little bit of profit they should be thanking God they got, than to take advantage of a situation, pass that on to somebody else that could cause them a lifetime of pain. Because like I said, I know what it feels like. I bought a, like, I'll say it again before I go, I bought a Babe Ruth signed baseball and a Michael Jordan Fleer rookie card. It was all the money I had, and I was trying to invest for my future. Spent the $8,000 I got from, I believe it was the funeral money from my father's death. I believe it's that, but it could have been another situation that happened, but I'm not going to get into that here. And I spent all the money I had on these two things, and they both ended up being fake, and I lost $8,000 of my money and almost destroyed me. So, again, they have the right, but just because you can doesn't mean you should. And I think this is going to hurt the community, and we need to be better than that. That's my opinion. You may not agree. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day. Get to have your trolls spayed or neutered. Peace out, everybody.